Social distance. Don't cough during the video. If you cough at all, I'll make sure to edit it out.
Hello, fellow movie fans. We're the movie family. We are back. We have been social distancing like everybody else during the COVID-19 / coronavirus health crisis out there. So we're doing our best to limit our interactions with other people and social distance like you're supposed to. Hopefully everybody else is doing that out there too to help flatten the curve and hopefully reduce the spread of this pandemic, this virus, and stop this pandemic from going everywhere else. So in the meantime, we decided to continue our videos and do some movie reviews for everybody and see some movies that might be of interest to folks, especially that might be a little bit timely. So we're going to do our review of Contagion, which is the 2011 film about a worldwide pandemic. So hopefully this gives you something else to watch while you're quarantined at home. And if we get a chance, we'll do some more videos going forward. So make sure to like and subscribe. And so you can join our family and watching movies. And always feel free to comment below if you've seen this movie or seen any other movies that you think might be of interest to folks to watch while they're spending time alone together at home. So the Contagion, as I said, it's 2011. It's a PG-13 film. It stars Matt Damon, Kate Winslet, Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Laurence Fishburne, and some other folks that are out there. But those are the main stars in the movie. And as I said, it's about a pandemic. Again, similar to the coronavirus. They actually talk about the novel virus a little bit. There's an interview with Sanjay Gupta at one point. They talk about the CDC as one of the major players in the whole thing. So we'll try to do our best not to spoil anything big on it, but obviously we'll talk a bit about the movies and the character and what happened in it, and avoid any of the big spoilers. So I guess my first question is, what was everybody's, general reaction or opinion of Contagion? It's, it's a little older movie, and this is the second time I saw it, but I think the first time for a lot of the kids.
No, we watched it. You didn't notice.
Any reaction?
It's a movie. It was pretty fun. I liked it.
Fun?
You thought it was a fun movie?
It was a fun movie.
I think you were taking the wrong message away if you thought it was a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. What are you going to do?
Okay. Rachel, any...
I thought it was a not fun movie.
Okay.
I don't think I really enjoyed watching it most of the time.
Yeah, you just didn't like the story at all?
We didn't sing, break out, and dance enough for Rachel's liking.
Well, it would have been an odd situation if they were dying from disease and then let's sing about this.
Well, I guess it wasn't my kind of thing, and it...
So that's a thought for a Mel Brooks movie. He could probably do something about that.
Oh, he could.
Some kind of pandemic and there was people singing about it. Yeah, not your kind of movie. Okay. You?
I thought it was good. I don't have a lot of other things
But it was
to
fine.
say about it. It was fine. I mean, it's not fun. It's not supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think about
it was good.
What'd you think about the acting, the story, or anything like that? I mean, that's...
the acting was good. They're good actors. All the ones that you listed are very good. The story was good for any time. It was especially timely now. It was interesting. I knew that I had seen it before, but I didn't remember it. I remembered the very end. That was all I could remember.
All right. Tommy?
I actually really liked it. I'm surprised that I'd never heard of it before. Considering how many famous actors there were in it, I was really surprised that I had never heard of this movie before. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It was really well acted too, and it was very realistic. There wasn't really any moment in the film where I was just thinking would that really happen? Because it felt like everything that happened felt like something that could actually have happened.
Now, if you had watched this a few months ago, would you have thought?
Yeah, I would have thought a little bit differently then. But especially now, I'm just like, it seems like a very realistic sort of movie, and and I felt like at times there was a bit much going on. Like there were a lot of different storylines that were going on, and I feel like some of those weren't quite serviced as fully as they should have been. Like there were some that were very present in the beginning of the movie that then were just not there for like 30 minutes, and then you come back to it at the end and it's like, oh right, this was happening.
Right.
So I feel like there could have been a little bit less going on, but that's really my only big problem with it.
I feel like if you'd watched it 3 months ago, you might have said, I don't know, would they really act like that at the store? But now, like,
Now,
there's no TP in the store. Clearly, people act like that.
Right, that may have been the only thing, and I was like, it was not quite as accurate, where there was maybe some toilet paper in the stores, where right now there's zero toilet paper in the store, or any other paper products. So maybe next time they could update it with or they'll remaster it with like new toilet paper. But yeah, no, I think it was actually in some ways so realistic it was a little boring, like like it was just like you were talking a lot about the CDC and you had these people that were traveling around talking to other people, and
Felt like more like it was a documentary.
yeah, exactly, it was more like a documentary, and not just because I think we're living through a similar situation, but and thank goodness, I mean, that one seems really bad and this one seems like it's going to be bad, but hopefully not that bad. But yeah, I just feel like it was a little, like, they had great actors and I think they acted it well, but like the story that they were given was almost not shocking enough, like or there was no super exciting moments. They were just things that happened throughout the movie that were like, oh wow, well that's interesting, or oh that's sad, or but not like. And I think part of it too was also that the characters were not like well developed. You jump right into the story. You don't really get to care about any of these people.
Yeah, they have development throughout the story, like Matt Damon. He
Yeah.
develops, but anything prior to that
Yeah.
is just like... Because, like, him and Gwyneth Paltrow were a couple. I mean, no spoilers, obviously, but they're a couple. It just... There's some stuff he's dealing with, but, like, you don't really get that development. Because it's just him, with the outbreak and stuff, but it's not really...
I don't know. I feel like if they had spent time on that, then you'd probably say, I don't know, I didn't really need to know all about his relationship.
Yeah, but you start day 2, like it literally starts, like the movie starts with day 2 of the virus, and then it quickly spreads to like everybody, and so you're kind of like, okay, who are these people? And yeah, you learn about them, but I think it may have hit home more if there would have been like, oh wow, like these normal lives going on have now been disrupted by this huge virus, and I agree, like we'd probably be arguing then there was too much of that. But I think a little bit more of that would have been better.
Yeah, I feel like that would have worked if they would have taken out a few of the other characters that weren't like,
or storylines that were like I don't care.
Marianne Cotillard, like her whole storyline, that was the one that I felt like didn't need to be in there.
Right.
Because if they would have taken that out and given Matt Damon and Laurence Fishburne some more development, then that would have been better. But just like an extra like 2 minutes or something of their characters.
They left Marianne Cotillard like basically... They had like a thing going with her, and then she just disappeared for 30 minutes of the movie. Yeah, and then she came back for like 5 minutes, and then just kind of end with her going to do something
you think
apparently important.
But then you're not certain.
And then it's just like...
It's like they cut out
credits.
like they made another movie, and then they're like, well, we don't have time for that, so we're just going to cut that part out. Like her part was a whole different movie, or different aspect of the movie.
Yeah, and also like... Jack Geller.
Yeah, that happened to that guy.
He was kind of disappeared.
You see him, he does a big thing, and then you're like, I guess he's gone. Did he die? I mean, it would have been even interesting if he would have been like, oh yeah, he actually died after he did that, because it was the bad news for him.
Yeah, just like overcrowded.
But you don't know anything.
A little bit like overcrowded at times.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty, like, that's not a nobody actor. So it was like you thought maybe something was going to happen there, but again, nothing really happens. So, again, some interesting things happen throughout the movie. In general, though, again, I think it's I would not necessarily, I think I remember watching the movie the first time and thinking, that's fine. This now, I think, okay, well, it's now got more relevance given what we're going through, and it's more interesting because of that. I think we already talked about really, is this... Did anybody, was there anything in there that you were like, oh yeah, like that actually is like it is right now? Or, besides the shopping, going shopping?
Sanjay Gupta.
right? That they were interviewing Sanjay Gupta was being interviewed or interviewing CDC guy, right? Anything else? Oh, prom was canceled, and the kids that had to be apart. That was actually kind of, you know.
Thought for a moment. Never mind.
So there's like school. They had one little thing in the school where Matt Damon popped in because like his son was sick or something.
Well, they did close the school.
Oh yeah, they closed the school.
Yeah, they closed the school because apparently like the nurse like at the school was infected or like they died or something.
But like they said once, you know, that a few schools had closed, and then you're left to extrapolate that. I guess after it becomes a bigger deal, then I guess more schools.
Because they were trying to control the panic, and then of course Jude Law pops in. He's kind of like the villain. Like next to the virus in itself in the movie, he's kind of like the villain because he's just so annoying the whole time.
He's a blogger
because he's like it's gonna be the next big thing. These wars and the I don't know. You call it like it's Jude Law.
Yeah, he's British, you know.
Yeah, that's British.
I don't know what that was.
But. I don't know what you're talking about. And then he's like he's part of the reason the stores get robbed or stuff. I don't know. You hate him.
There's a basically a panic rush on the stores. And, and so again, I can see that kind of being a worst case scenario for some of these things that we've seen a bit of them, but it's clearly not as bad as that because a lot more death is going on in this movie, I think, than sudden death. I think, at least again, from what we understand what this is right now. Hopefully that is not going to be the case. So, so then I would say, it's PG-13, parental guidance. I mean, I would say, again, you guys are in middle school. I'd say definitely middle school and up, depending on the maturity level of your kids. It's pretty serious.
I mean, subject matter-wise, it's serious. But as far as graphic, I think there's one part where they perform an autopsy, which that part is not as graphic as I thought it was going to be.
No more than CSI.
Peel back someone's skin.
Yeah, no more than CSI does, like, probably a little less than that.
I think that was actually the most...
But the subject matter in general is obviously, like, mature, a lot of deaths, you know, a lot of the virus going around, killing a lot of people, and the possible impact. So if your child would be traumatized and think that that's what's going to happen, and that's, you know, obviously something that you'd want to avoid. But if you think they can handle it and you can explain it as this is a entertainment in order to, you know, demonstrate what it could happen in a worst case scenario of a pandemic, and what's all being done behind the scenes, I think that could be useful and entertaining, and educational in some ways. So your overall kind of, would you recommend it, and what would be your rating? You know, especially given, you know, if people are at home stuck looking for things to watch.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. I think it's better when we're dealing with something like this, or I think it's very relevant now, so it makes for a better watch. It's good. I like it.
How many out of 5?
Probably. Yeah, I'd give it a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rachel?
I wouldn't recommend it to most people. It kind of depends. If you just love watching disaster movies and people die, then yeah, watch it. But otherwise, I give it like a 3.5 because it's not something I ever really would want to watch.
Okay. I give it a 4. A 4 during quarantine coronavirus time, probably a 3.5 during any other time.
Yeah, it depends on if you're trying to watch it to see realistic portrayal of things, or if you're trying to escape from the reality that is currently going on.
Yeah, then you don't want to watch it. More of reality.
It's not a fun escapist movie.
Right.
And somewhere between a 4 or 4.5. I guess a 4.25.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 3.9 out of 5. Just because it's really good and I actually like it. It's just there's too much going on is the biggest problem. There's just too much happening. But other than that, it's really good.
So you can get this on Amazon Prime right now. There's a couple other streaming, but Amazon Prime, it's like $4 or something like that. You can buy that on. Okay. Well, that's our review. Social distance.
Right, so everyone else is social distance. So now it's time for my bad joke of the day from Reader's Digest. What's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a unicycle and a well-dressed man on a bicycle? Attire. That's it. We're done.